grab a drink, and get comfortable, because the Reel Hooligans are about to drop some movie knowledge on your ass. And now, here's Tim and David.
All right, Hooligans, welcome back. It's a big week for us.
Big is an understatement, Tim.
Big.
Titanic.
Big.
I mean, it's huge.
It's the matchup we've been waiting for since at least 2014, I guess.
It's been building for a while.
It's here, it's among us, and it's streaming live into your homes, unless you're ready to go back out to movie theaters. Godzilla versus Kong. Let's do this. And hey, David, welcome. It's good to see you, buddy.
Tim, it's great to be back.
And not to be outdone, brother, but we have a special guest on the line.
Oh, no, I'm outdone, Tim.
On the line.
We're clear about that.
Coming to us from his home.
Parts unknown.
Wherever he is. Alan Rapp.
Alan.
What's up, Alan?
Hello. Hey.
Good to have you back, dude.
Yeah.
We missed you.
We have missed you.
Yeah.
We talk about it a lot. I don't know if you listen to our show.
Yeah, you come up from time to time.
It's funny, you know, I'll be listening to one of your shows, and all of a sudden David will just say, you know, fuck Alan. I was like, what? What's that? What's going on?
And you know
It's
what?
always deserved.
There you go. There is proof that he does listen, because he's quoting you now.
Right.
All right. Alan is writing for, are you still with Razor Fine? Where
I
you
am.
at? Okay. What else are you doing?
So basically I've got Razor Fine and Explosion of Awesome are the two places where you can find me.
Cool. Fellow member of the Kansas City Film Critics Circle.
Yeah.
So you need to come and zoom in on the little show Lonita and I are doing.
Yeah, I think every time, like so far, the movies you've done is I haven't had a review ready by the time you've needed to do
Right.
them.
Well, I tell you what, we'll talk about this off too, but there's, you know, and I'll just plug it here. We're doing, Lonita Cook and I are doing a bi-weekly YouTube show where we talk about the week's movies, and kind of, you know, it's for the Kansas City Film Critics Circle, so critics can shoot us little blurbs from their reviews, and we'll read them and talk about it. Lanita and I did a show. Dan and I just did a show. Dan Liebarger and I just did a show this week for Godzilla and Kong and The French Exit, which is not a good movie, but has some good performances. But yeah, we'll talk about that and get you on there. That'll be fun. So thank you for coming on. We thought it was very fitting that you joined us for this show.
Yeah, I was wondering, I've been trying to remember what my first experience with King Kong was, and I don't remember. I know my first exposure to Godzilla was the Godzilla cartoon. Do you remember that?
I do.
I do not.
But I do not remember what my first experience with King Kong was.
My first experience with King Kong was the 1978 movie with Kurt Russell.
Yes.
And help me.
I don't have it pulled up.
Who's in that with Kurt Russell? Alan.
It's not Kurt Russell. It's
not Kurt Russell. It's not Kurt Russell.
Bridges.
Jeff
It's
Bridges. Jeff Bridges. Thank you.
Yeah, it's Jeff Bridges. It's Jeff Bridges, Charles Grodin, and Jessica Lange.
Jessica Lange. Thank you.
In her very first appearance.
Yeah.
So, and
Wow.
I just rewatched this last week. So,
Yeah.
And I think that might have been my first one as well, but I'm not positive.
And I remember when that monkey died at the end, I was in tears. Like, are you kidding me? I watched this whole thing and they just killed that
Just
goddamn.
off him.
I'm sure in my head I was thinking that, but I was like, 5 or 6 at the time. I was like, what? Broke my heart. But I'm a fan of both before we get started on this. I mean,
Sure, they crush stuff and do cool shit. Of course.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Fan of both.
Can we get to know Alan again?
Yeah, let's get to know Alan again.
Yeah.
David got his questions. He always has our 5 questions segment at the start, so let's do 5.
Crazier conspiracy theory, flat Earth or hollow Earth?
I would say go ahead, Alan.
I think it's flat Earth. What I don't understand about the flat Earth theory is if the world was actually flat, how come nobody has a picture of the edge of the world? Right?
Yeah.
We have pictures of everything. Like, where's the edge of the world, and what does it look like?
It's crazy.
I agree. Crazier is flat Earth.
Well, I'm hoping for Hollow Earth. I want that to be a thing.
That's something I
want there to be
true.
dinosaurs and shit living below us.
I hope they're somewhere. They're like, fuck, man, you stay up there, shit comes down and hits you.
Yes.
let's go under the ground.
What animal would you like to see large enough to battle the Titans? Anyone. Alan.
What animal would I like to see large enough to battle the Titans?
That was, in fact, the question.
Why don't I throw out like a chimera or something? Isn't that like a 3-headed lion or something like that?
That's pretty cool.
It might have different heads, but yeah, how about like a chimera? Because there's
you could do like the 3-headed dog in Harry Potter.
Yeah.
What is it, Snuffles, or what the hell is it called?
You just play some music and it goes to sleep. That thing is useless.
I mean, something ridiculous might be more fun, like a big fluffy, like cute bunny or
Stay
cat.
Puft Marshmallow
That's
Man.
where I was thinking. You guys are going Ghostbusters. All right. Coolest way to destroy a city: superheroes, giant robots, or giant animals?
Well, we basically had all of those, and we know the superhero one wasn't cool, so we'll take that one out. I'd say
That was a dig at Batman and Superman, by the way.
I was going to say Man of Steel.
Man of Steel, all of the above. It's all.
Oh, God, I hate that movie.
I like Man of Steel. I don't care.
I'd say giant animals.
Yeah, definitely the monsters, man. I mean, if that's where we're.
I think so.
I'd rather watch monsters than robots or dudes, superpowered dudes.
All right. A movie like Jurassic World, Godzilla, or any of the natural disaster movies, does plot matter at all, or is it all about the action and effects?
Plot does matter. I mean, even in a pure action movie, you have to have some semblance of plot, and it has to be believable enough that it will at least carry you from action scene 1 to action scene 2. No movie is short enough to be all action scenes, so you have to have something that's gonna like bridge those.
It's interesting. Yeah, I think it matters. I don't think you have to have anything too strong, but it has to be, like Alan said, I think just enough to get you from point A to point B to point C. I think Godzilla, King of the Monsters, way overthought their plot, and this movie way underthought their plot. There's got to be happy medium, and that's what it's one thing that's lacking from these movies. Honestly,
I will agree with you on King of Monsters. I think it was the weakest of all of them, and part of the problem with the Godzilla plot line of this movie is so much of it is based on that movie. But yeah.
All right. The Kong, Godzilla universe, whatever we're calling it.
Monsterverse.
Pick your fighter. Who you going with?
I'm going to King Kong. I mean, yeah.
I mean, I'm going to take Godzilla because he had fucking Kong on his goddamn back. I mean, but they're boys in the end. I mean,
Well, this
Good
is,
pals.
I mean,
It's a buddy flick.
It is.
It basically is. This is what Zack Snyder wanted Batman versus Superman to be.
Yeah.
It's the oldest like comic book superhero trope.
Yes.
It's two heroes who there's like a misunderstanding, then they fight for a while, and then they team up to fight somebody else. That's what it is. I mean,
This is so basic.
Yeah. But it's like almost if you had just taken that Martha dialogue out, then it's like, because that's pretty much what happened. He had Kong on the ground, and they just kind of like yelled at each other for a second, like, "Stay down, motherfucker!" He's like, "Fuck, I will, okay." And then he just like, and then there's that close up of Godzilla where he just kind of nods to him, like, "We done here, dude?" And then he like steps off, And then that fucking robot came. Well, we'll get into this, but
We have so much ground to cover.
all right. It was at 5?
Yeah, that's 5. Let's move on.
All right, man. All right. Well, we'll just cut to the chase here. Godzilla versus Kong. There's people involved. It's directed by, who was this? Adam Wingard, who's not doing the Thundercats movie. Do we have thoughts here?
Is it going to be live action? Because those characters are going to look pretty strange if you're going to use live actors.
Dude, is it going to look like cats?
Yeah, isn't there a fear there? I mean, yeah, absolutely. It's like, I would assume that we're talking about a live action movie, but I'm like, ooh, tread carefully here.
I don't want to have another CGI cat genitals conversation.
I love Thundercats, but this is one of those where it's like, man, there's a reason this hasn't happened yet. It's because every time they've tried to do it, because at one point they had started putting casts together. I'm pretty sure Wesley Snipes was playing Panther at one point, or thought he was. You know how he goes through these phases where he thinks he's playing characters, but
I mean, just take one character, take Lion-O, and try to imagine dressing up an actor in that costume with that hairdo.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it translates. So he's got his work cut out for him. Here he had pretty easy work to do. Just, he had the Godzilla established, Kong established by the MonsterVerse and decades of
Lore.
yeah, so he's got this pretty much set up. I do agree that they leaned too heavily on the Godzilla King of the Monster, especially the characters, getting Millie Bobby Brown and Kyle Chandler back.
Well, yeah, and Kyle Chandler could actually be cut out of the entire movie. I mean, you can actually, except for one plot point, Millie Bobby Brown could be too, but Kyle Chandler can definitely. He's really no more than a cameo, even though they bring him back 4 or 5 times.
A waste of space.
He's just signed on for the sequel. That's why he's there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Cut me a check.
Absolutely. And, the thing about Kong is then, the last Kong movie took place during the Vietnam War, so you can't carry any characters over.
Well, you could have. You could have aged some characters and used them, but they chose not to, and I understand why they didn't.
You'd have to age some people pretty hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't need an old Brie Larson.
No.
And Loki.
But I will say what's interesting is there's really 2 movies. There's the Godzilla movie and there's the King Kong movie, and then eventually they converge. But the Godzilla movies, really structure on the back of the previous Godzilla movie, which wasn't great. Pretty much all the Kong stuff is new, and the Kong stuff works better.
And that's true. I mean, as a character, like a narrative character, Kong works more because he's obviously more relatable.
He has
because
personality.
You can teach him things.
Clearly you can.
I mean,
like sign language.
I just love how quickly he went from, hey, he understands home, to she's having full blown says, hey dude, don't fight him, go fuck up that other, he's the bad, she's full blown. So he's over there going, oh, right on, dude, cool. I mean,
and he can see her tiny little hands and fingers making those signs. He's that acute to the sign language.
Did either of you think of Congo when Kong started to sign?
No, I was thinking of Coco and that little kitten. Get that dude a kitten.
All right. So, the human characters for who was the dull one for the Kong ones? The answer could be both, I know. You have Alexander Skarsgård, who is just, he's Tarzan, so of course he's on Kong's side.
Right.
And then the dull one from Iron Man 3.
Rebecca Hall.
Yeah.
Man.
And she's fine. I like the little girl.
Yeah, she was fine.
Yeah.
She had the most depth to any scene.
Right.
Because, oh boy, Skarsgård just struggles, man.
Just constantly. And I love how his character has developed from this flunky scientist in a basement somewhere to flying this high-tech, never-before-seen vehicle into the center of the Earth. He just has...
Did I miss the part where he got training on how to fly that?
On any of it. He just sees it and magically knows, I can do this.
They also had some badass tech. I mean, they said that movie took place 10 years after Godzilla made his first appearance, so 2024. That was some Stark level shit they had going on. And obviously there's a company that's created a mecha Godzilla at this point, so obviously the sky's the limit for technology, but it really did seem like quite a jump between King of the Monsters and now they have spaceships.
Yeah. Yeah, they can power
how far ahead of this?
Vegas
and they're like 10
for a
years,
week.
like, okay, whoa, I see. All right. So I won't make fun of Alexander Skarsgård. Although I would like to get him and Joel Kinnaman in a movie together.
Why?
Oh, because that would just be like dumb stare city.
All right.
Okay. So where do you guys want to start with this movie? We got Kong on his island, living in a virtual dome. So what are they? They're keeping him. They don't want Godzilla to find him. Basically, they don't want him to get off the island because he's so big. But also,
and that's like an interesting idea, right? That sets up the idea early on that he's really the hero in the humans' eyes of the two. And that's a nice way to kind of set that up. It's like we have to protect him until he's big enough that he can fight off Godzilla.
Right. Well, I think they're trying to A, keep him on the island, but B, protect him. Keep him hidden.
He's not happy about it.
Right.
He's pretty pissed off.
Why was that little girl there?
She's the adopted daughter of Rebecca Hall.
And King Kong.
Yes.
She had like nothing to do with like that civilization of people
which was my initial thought, and I was waiting for that explanation.
There is a line. Basically, when they gave me the screening link, I watched it, and then before the screening link expired, I watched it a second time, like back to back.
You hate yourself.
There were little things I wanted to see if I could pick up on, and one of them is there is a line that's just thrown in that she was part of that tribe on that island.
Okay.
And the line is something like the storm around the island basically collapsed on the island, and that's why it's raining outside. It's like instead of being a barrier, it actually collapsed, and it's like constantly storming.
Sounds awful.
Yeah.
So that she doesn't want to be wet.
Cool. So there's some plot in there somewhere, David.
Sure.
You have to rewatch it and catch that line.
Doesn't make it good plot.
All right. So now Godzilla has gone around and he's doing some detective shit. Let's not cut him short, dude. He's like scoping out, trying to figure out what this company's doing. He's not going about it the right way. He's got really poor communication skills.
You mean murdering hundreds of people?
I mean, yeah.
Isn't the best way?
But he's trying to get them to stop doing it's like I get, it's like Thanos. It's like he's not even like Thanos. It's like, but he's got the right idea.
He's got the
going about it all wrong.
He's got like the intentions of whatever the dragon's name is at the end of Game of Thrones, who melts the throne. Like it's
right.
It's like a good idea there, but it doesn't really make any sense.
Right.
I'm glad I stopped watching that show.
Did you not see the end of that?
No.
Oh my Lord. Okay. Yeah, we won't go down that path. All right. So and at the same time, and smooth the plot out for me, or the introduction of what this plot is. They discover this energy source is in this hollow earth. And for some reason they have to take Kong down to get it.
They don't know the way.
I think the idea is he's the only one who can lead them to it.
Correct.
Although it doesn't really make sense. Like they have detectors.
He just jumps down a hole.
They just strap him to a boat and go.
Yeah.
There are a few weird nagging plot points to this movie.
A few.
And the first one for me was, they set up the idea in Skull Island that what are the skull monster things? Skull crawlers?
Skull crawlers.
Yeah.
It's the first time I said that out loud.
They say that they're coming up through Hollow Earth.
Yeah, through the vents.
There's a portal on Skull Island.
Right.
So why do they need to go halfway around the world if there's a portal right there?
Yeah. That was my first question. Was
These
like,
people
why?
are stupid.
Yeah.
That's why.
Why is this happening? Otherwise, you wouldn't get that cool fight in the middle of the ocean.
And that is of the, you get two massive fight sequences, and they're both really good. And the one on the boat is, and that's cool. I mean,
I like that one because that is a clear advantage to Godzilla. That's his element, and to take Kong out of that and
he was
throw
way out
him
of
under.
yeah.
When he comes up and he just throws up all that water on the boat, yeah, man, that would suck.
Yeah, he's just like, what?
The fuck is this?
well, yeah, I mean, you've got Kong, who is drugged, who is chained, who has been drowned, like, before they even start fighting.
Right.
He's at a clear disadvantage.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's fun. Even when the fight dips below the water, you can still tell what's going on.
Sure.
I mean, they're just wrestling around with each other, but I think of, the Pacific Rim movies where it's like once they go in the water, it's like, what's happening?
Right.
So that was a lot of fun to watch. Yeah, the fights were definitely, make the movie fun to watch.
Yes.
I mean, even the fight in Hong Kong, even the way it was lit with the purples and the pinks and the blues.
Oh, yeah,
The neons.
It looked
great.
amazing.
And it also gave you, like, the one thing you didn't get because you didn't do you never did the Kong New York storyline, is you got to see Kong, like, jumping from building to building and climbing buildings. And so that was cool, too.
Yes. Swinging through stuff.
Yeah.
All right, now what do we think of the Mechagodzilla storyline here?
Stupid.
They used Ghidorah's head,
Skull?
his brain.
They used two of them, right? That's the idea. Like, one of them is in this company's basement, and the other one is supposed to be, like, in Mechagodzilla.
Right.
Right? And they're telepathically communicating to each other.
Because that's how they communicated when they were alive, because their heads were so far apart.
When they were connected to a monster brain. So did they create some kind of weird computer that's doing that now?
No,
And I guess that's where the AI and the whole Pacific Rim jacking in thing
That
kind of came in because
that's really unclear about how that's supposed to work and why it even needs to work, as opposed to just building a cockpit in Mechagodzilla's head.
right, yeah,
But now we can fry them all and link everything back to this original monster, and it's cooler.
Well, yeah. So how did you guys take it? Did you take it as the artificial intelligence took over, or Ghidorah's whatever was left of his brain took over?
Ghidorah.
I kind of took it as the second one. Did you? Is that what you guys thought?
I assumed that somehow Ghidorah merged with the AI, but with that
Mecha.
power source, just.
But Ghidorah's running the show.
Ghidorah's running the show, though. Yeah, that it was right because they established down in Hollow Earth that Ghidorah and Kong also had the Kong family.
The families have a rivalry.
Yeah.
The Hatfield and McCoys.
So Ghidorah's straight up from Earth.
Yeah.
Not an alien. Wasn't Ghidorah an alien in the
Originally.
Toho?
I thought they called him an alien in the last Godzilla movie too.
Yeah, that's possible that he came to Earth thousands of years ago.
He was the comet that killed all the dinosaurs.
Son of a bitch. That's a good one, David.
Hey.
That's a better plot point than literally anything anything a human.
I want my check.
All right. David and I talked about Millie Bobby Brown before this. Where are you with this actress? I'm kind of over having her kind of crammed down our throats at this point.
She has fit into that. Let's cast her into everything.
Yeah.
So,
and it's like this movie, it was like how many shots were just like establishing shots of like, I think of that one where they're sneaking into the thing at the base at the end or whatever. And she comes up out of that vent, the floor vent. There's just a close up on her face and she's all wide eyed, her jaw open, oh, look how cute. And just, inquisitive, and I am, and it's just like, oh, I'm just done with you, dude. You can't act. I mean, she was great on Stranger Things when she was the little psycho patient, bald kid who loved waffles. I mean, with superpowers. I mean, but it's just like, man, it's like I have no idea why her character carries over here.
Well, I think she's there for those reaction shots mainly, right? Like, oh, it's Mechagodzilla, react to it. Oh, it's those kind of things. So
run away.
And that poor bastard from Deadpool 2. Kind of
yes,
dude. Yeah.
Yes, who I kept waiting for him to pull a shiv out of his ass.
And Julian Dennison.
Brian Tyree Henry, I like a lot, but he wasn't given much to do. I mean, even as his character, it was just he would just say the most contrived dialogue. I think most of this movie was written by a computer dialogue generator.
Well, he's playing the, crazy conspiracy theorist, guy who we're really not supposed to take seriously.
Showers in bleach.
Except that he's right in like a lot of his stuff.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
That's something I wrote in my review, whereas I said something like, just once, I'd like to see a movie like this where the conspiracy theorist is proven wrong and his, crazy theory isn't, completely correct. Can we get that?
Yeah, that's a good point. Because I mean, even I think of 2012, Woody Harrelson played kind of that same dude sitting in his trailer, talking about the end of the world, and they don't all have to be right, David.
Every one of them do.
All right, well, let's talk about these two creatures beating the crap out of each other. So great. I mean, that's why we're here, right?
Well, let's talk about Kong's acts of power. How cool is that?
Yeah, I would not be opposed to seeing a prequel to some of this, because where'd that fucker come from?
Kong's family back in the day.
When I saw the trailer, I was like, when the hell is he going to have time to make an axe out of Godzilla's fin? I was like, Jesus. Tools. Well, I mean, but it seemed like short, But yeah, so he finds it, and that makes more sense. But yeah, it seems like there's a whole lot of interesting storytelling, because I'm a geek and I would just love to see more. But
I mean, the one part, and like I said, this has some plot issues here and there, like giant size holes. But the one that really got me was, I think it's cool that they showed us Hollow Earth, and basically gave you that journey to the center of the Earth kind of plot thread there. Mm-hmm. Then you get to like a built fortress with giant doors on hinges, and I'm like, who the fuck built this?
Right.
Yeah, there was like a whole lot of. I felt like they went too deep in there, because I was like, now you're forcing us to ask too many questions, and I don't think you want us asking more questions than I'm thinking about right now. But yeah, yeah.
But that axe is badass.
So the Kongs were rulers at one point,
as they should be.
Okay. I'm just saying, dude. When they got to Hong Kong, and they both got on level ground, and you know what? We talked about advantages. Kong was able to
swing around.
Okay, so we're equal. We're good.
Sure.
And who was put on his ass? Just say his name. Just say it.
It was Kong.
So you get the first fight. Godzilla wins the first fight.
Right.
Although, to be fair, Kong was drugged up.
Yeah, and way out of his element. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the second fight, like the beginning of the first fight,
round 2.
It was like the very first fight where Kong basically kicks Godzilla's ass for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then they like show some human stuff for a while, and then they go back to the fight, and then Godzilla kicks his ass again. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying. When they fought. But then he had this punk ass bitch Mechagodzilla that comes out of nowhere. He's got like missiles and rocket boosters.
Can we talk about missiles? Can we talk about missiles for a second? Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
Has no one bothered to communicate to anyone else that shooting missiles at Godzilla does not work?
Yeah,
it's never worked. It's never been a solution to any of
never,
this.
Yeah.
And even throughout this movie, you see different groups
It
of
looks
people.
cool, David.
It does, but I mean,
When you have those
It's
big
just so
fins
pointless.
sticking out of the water and just explosions, I mean, it looks amazing.
Yeah, sure.
Visually, computer generatedly.
stop shooting missiles. You're just pissing him off.
Yeah, I was waiting for him to be like, drop a nuke on him.
That's always
Like, have we
the
learned
answer.
nothing?
But there's really no contest between Godzilla and Mechagodzilla because Mechagodzilla basically wipes the floor.
Yeah,
with
he does. He
Godzilla.
literally. And I'm hoping that they evacuated that city.
No, there are millions and millions of dead people.
Millions, right? Because like all of those buildings were destroyed
Yeah.
really quickly.
This is an apocalyptic event for the nation of Japan.
I mean, there was no scene that gave you any kind of like a hurricane war, like that sirens going off, like everybody,
Yeah.
Godzilla's coming.
No, they were just here. They just
Yeah,
show up
they
and
just
shit
happened.
goes
Guess
down.
he showed up and then he blew that hole through the ground and
Yeah, let's talk about that. Why can't he just shoot a laser to
and
the throne
Earth-
room?
and like the lava and stuff doesn't like fill in the hole before Kong sees it. I mean, Kong has good enough eyesight that he can look up through.
however deep that
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, none of this makes any
And he's
sense.
like, oh man, it's that one motherfucker again.
Yeah.
I'm going to go up there and I'm going to teach his punk ass some shit this time.
So he both
Yeah.
climbs up and falls down the hole at the same time.
Right, because you got that weird kind of gravity thing where like gravity in Hollow Earth is different.
Yeah.
So he jumps down the hole, but jumps out of the hole. It's
Right.
wild. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, just your brain should be off.
Yeah. No, it was off going into this.
I mean, your brain should have been off when Alexander Skarsgård was a scientist.
Yes.
You should have been like, oh, it's that kind of movie. All right, so it's a great fight. I mean, watching this too. I mean, even though they're obviously we're talking about CGI creatures. The love I have for just watching these kind of movies since my childhood. This is what I've been waiting for.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I didn't want anybody to win. I mean, honestly, it's like I didn't want Kong to. I mean, I knew this is where it's going. They would team up and Batman, Superman, and somebody
Sure.
else. But, I mean, it was amazing. And then, Alan said it perfectly. I mean, getting to see Kong jump on the buildings and swing around, and it was fun, dude. And this director, I mean, he obviously knew what he wanted to show.
And I like that it's 2 hours. It's actually a little less than 2 hours.
Yeah.
So they didn't make it some long, drawn out, 3.5 hour.
Snyder.
No.
None of these movies have been long movies.
No.
I think the
Yeah.
first one might have been a little bit longer than 2 hours, but Skull Island, King of the
like
Monsters, and this
145?
have been all, and that's what you got to do. There's nothing deep here, so don't pretend like there is.
No.
Yeah, Snyder Cut. I don't need all this. There's nothing deep to what we didn't get Endgame at 3 hours because they were trying to be deep. There was just a lot to wrap up at that
Yeah,
point. I
yeah.
mean, you know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't need you to lengthen something out to make me feel like what I'm watching is a better movie. Cut to the chase. Make the humans a little better. Give me something to believe in. I need to think they're in danger or something, or care that they're in danger. I shouldn't be hoping they die just so I don't keep cutting back to them.
Yeah, right.
Can we just kill these people off so we can just eliminate these scenes?
I do enjoy
Well,
that.
I mean, we're here to see these two monsters fight, and it's great that you've got a human storyline in here, but we could probably use a little less of that.
and the only ones that actually were meaningful were the Kong people because they resuscitated Kong.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, sorry, pouring the water on the computer to slow Mecha
which is
so cheap.
that was just so.
Which is the lamest thing.
That was just so dumb. After all that, I was like, oh my God, after all this fucking screen time you've wasted me watching, that's how you're getting. And all it did was really slow. It was like, oh, give me a break.
I did like the resuscitation of Kong with the lightning.
Yeah.
Because it was like a callback to that, the 60s King Kong versus Godzilla, which it makes no sense, but they decided in that movie that Kong got his power from lightning.
Okay.
And it's a built-in storyline in that movie.
Yeah,
and so
I haven't watched that one
like
forever.
Godzilla's beating him and then he gets hit by a lightning strike and he's more powerful.
I did appreciate they kind of mimicked the the tree down Godzilla's throat by doing he sticks the handle of the weapon down his throat.
Yeah.
I was like, I caught that
Good
reference.
touch.
I get that. So, what'd you think about the look of Mecha, though? I mean, was it?
I could have done with him being a little cheesier. I thought they could have had a little more fun. Kept to the original design a little
Sure.
more. But I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they had to go the teched out, kind of slicker look nowadays.
Yeah, Godzilla was like, who's this fucking dude, man?
Yeah, just out of nowhere.
Yeah, he was like, I can't do anything to hurt this dude. Yeah, that was a good time, man. Good fight. Where do they go next with this with these guys? Do we get another one?
Well, they talked about how like this was the movie that they were working towards.
Yeah.
And I read like a blurb from the director saying that after, it'll depend on how well this movie does if they go any further. But this is what they were working towards. So, they hit that point. There's that original thought that you would do something with Pacific Rim. The only thing about that I don't know how that would work is what you're going to do. Are you going to have like Kong and Godzilla team up to fight all the Pacific Rim robots? Or Kong and Godzilla are going to team up with the robots to fight other kaiju? It's like, I don't know how that movie would work.
I'll just go ahead and pass on that. I don't think I need a Pacific Rim.
The only thing that I really need right now is like a Kong trip back to Skull Island. Let him sort out some stuff with some monsters on Skull Island.
I think there's a lot you could do with Hollow Earth.
Yeah.
Although it looks like, you get the weird bat dinosaur flying creatures.
Yeah.
Other than that, we don't see a lot. Oh, we get the little crabs.
We got the
We get little things
dragons,
like that.
the flying dragon thing.
So there might be more than we see, but
Sure.
it didn't look like there were like tons of new interesting creatures there.
Yeah, there's Rodan's still around. He's a punk. He's like Starscream.
Yeah.
He's like Starscream of the kaiju. Fucking Starscream. All right.
Oh, we didn't talk about what's her name? Who plays the mean girl?
From
Gonzalez.
Was it Eliza?
Yeah.
Yeah,
who
her
I
character
always-
was there for like no reason other than just kind of be a bitch.
Yeah, but to be fair, that's like what she does in a lot of her movies.
Oh yeah, yeah, and she always looks good doing it. So
Yeah.
I actually had to catch in the rewatch what happened to her character at one point because I was like by the end I was like, oh, I just must have looked away or something, but
Blinked.
it's just
Yeah,
something I was
because
like, what happened to her?
Give you the they give you the we're going to kill that mean character in a way that the audience can cheer moment, right?
Right, yeah, and then because he just grabs the ship she's on and just
Crunch.
Yeah, how smart does she have to be to like, shoot Kong or like aim the guns at Kong's friends? It's like, what are you doing?
I did think it was funny. My kids, while watching a lot of that fight, and especially when those ships are kind of flying around and trying to escape, and you're kind of getting the look of the monsters, and they're like, "Oh, here's the new Universal ride."
Universal Studios. Welcome to Kong vs. Godzilla.
Yeah. I mean, it was like, oh my God, literally, you could totally see this will be the thing. You're flying around, you're trying to escape.
He's
Godzilla
gonna
and Kong
open up
are
his
fighting.
mouth, and we're gonna zoom right through.
It's a new attraction coming soon to a Universal Studios near you. I definitely want to see more. So
yeah,
So
absolutely.
I will say, I'll give you something, Tim, since you've been kind of pro Godzilla here. Mm-hmm. So the movie ends with Kong, dropping the axe and saying, okay, let's stop fighting.
yeah,
And Godzilla, turns around and, slinks back into the ocean with his tail between his legs.
okay,
But I will say, if you think about it, Kong's like, oh, Godzilla's the only one that can power my cool new axe, so I can't kill him. So
right. They
I'll
need
let
each
him
other.
live.
I mean, let's face
Yeah.
it.
Yes.
They're bros now. They're Hobbs and Shaw now, man.
I don't need more of that.
Oh Jesus! All right, yeah. Well, I don't know. We get a team up. Which one has a kid first? We get Son of Godzilla first, or we get Son of Kong first?
Well, the thing is, what is Godzilla gonna mate with?
I don't know. Maybe maybe he's like asexual.
But he's a lizard. Yeah, he can change his sex and just do the thing.
Yeah.
And then change back.
And just procreate.
Yeah.
Like he'll just have an egg. He'll be like, oh man, I'm feeling bloated and shit.
He's out an egg. Kind of like, what was that? Who was the Ferris Bueller Day Off, the guy that had the Godzilla movie where the eggs were just
yeah. Ooh, that's how we tie it
through in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah. Now we can just remake that shot for shot, except with all these two. We could even get Hank Azaria and Matthew Broderick.
Yes, Matthew Broderick. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one. Kong is a different story, though. How do you do that?
I don't know. Maybe there's a monkey chick down in Hollow Earth.
Maybe.
Well, that's the plot line for. I watched a bunch of King Kong Godzilla stuff over the week leading up to this.
Of course you did.
The movie I didn't find to rewatch, which I have seen, but it's been a while, was King Kong Lives. Mm-hmm. And that's a sequel to the 70s King Kong movie where they managed to save Kong's life. But he's like on life support. He's like on this giant life support machine.
Is it a wheelchair?
And then they find a female giant ape to give him a blood transfusion.
When he started with blood, I did not think he was going to say blood transfusion.
No.
Okay, keep going.
Timothy.
So that movie is out there.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I've seen that too.
You can actually view it anywhere though.
Yeah, that's probably not one they're.
I'm gonna go with DNA cloning kind of thing. Some weird
maybe.
Doctor found some
go.
blood in Tokyo. Oh man,
I didn't make my my Castle Grayskull joke because when Kong had the axe that got powered up, I did say, I have the power, because it made perfect sense for me that's what would happen.
Oh, that's absolutely what he should have just came down on him. Or are you talking about like when they were fighting Godzilla, where he jumped off the building and he harnessed it?
There are a couple times where it's like
Yeah, I mean, lots of great images.
Oh yeah.
I mean, even if I'm, on Team Godzilla or whatever, I mean, dude, that shot of Kong coming down and just harnessing the energy and just, it was badass, dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He's my boy. I mean, I'd like to see them fight some more chumps. What about that dude from Wyoming, man? There's an American kaiju. What was that thing? They were talking about him in the last one. A little beetle-looking thing crawls out of the ground, and yeah, I looked him up one time.
Was he called Beetlejuice?
Nah, American.
More creative than that.
Yeah, kaiju. Let's look. I'm looking it up real quick, and then we'll. Alan, what are you doing for Easter? We're recording our show on Easter, so it's the Silver Hydra. That's
not much.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go out. I've been waiting to do yard work. I've been putting it off, and then I've got to probably go out and actually do some stuff today.
Gotcha. Well, it's a good time to do it. So Silver Hydra, that's the Wyoming kaiju. That's the American.
All right.
Looks like an idiot though.
Get it into action.
Just like an American. All right. Well, man, King Kong versus Godzilla. Kong versus Godzilla. King Godzilla versus King Kong, whatever you want to call it. Streaming. I was hoping we'd have an update on the weekend box office, but it is not updated for the weekend yet. At least I have not found it. Wait, it is actually been updated. $43 million this weekend. I mean,
is that good? I don't know in these times if that's good.
Well, in these times, absolutely, that's good.
Okay.
I mean,
So if you look at the previous weekends, the previous weekends are 17, 15, 15, 20.
Nobody made 17 last weekend.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that number actually has been updated in just the last few minutes. So great.
Yeah. So that's by far the biggest number of the year. I don't know let's see how far you'd have to go back.
Pre-pandemic, what would this movie have done? What would the expectation have been?
Man, that's hard to say because it would have came out in a different time. And the last one didn't do well, so who knows if that would have still been a hangover? And,
Well,
now,
yeah, but to be fair, the last one didn't have King Kong in it. So
that's true.
Right?
That's a big name.
I'm trying to.
It's a draw.
Okay, so if we go back to March 6th through 8th, which was the kind of the last real weekend of 2020, that was a 90 million.
What was that like?
Oh, top 10 gross for that weekend was 90 million, and it drops off like from that to the next week is where you start to see the drop off.
Yeah.
It goes from
What was the movie?
let's see, let me go in here. But it goes from there to 49, so it drops huge, and then it goes to 4,000, so that drops even huge.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
see.
when they were like theaters.
So that's not bad. So the number one movie that weekend was Onward,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
and that was 39 million. So that's pretty good for King Kong and Godzilla.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it's a solid weekend. I mean, and some theaters are just now starting to reopen, and I think it'll be interesting to see July when Black Widow comes out. That'll be because everything's supposed to be open a little bit more by then.
Will you have your vaccination by then?
I've had my first one.
Me too.
Yeah, I got my first shot too.
Yeah, I got my first one.
Yeah, so cool. So we'll all be vaccinated, and I'll sit down together maybe someday.
go to a
someday
movie.
soon. Yeah, that would
right.
be great. That would be great. Alan Rapp, say again where people can listen to you or read you. They read
Sure.
you.
Yeah, they can find me on razorfine.com and explosionofawesome.com, and you can find me under Cap'n Carrot, CAPNCARROT, on various social places like Twitter and Instagram and things like that.
Right on. You're always a good conversation, brother. I miss
Love
seeing
having
you.
you.
Yeah, good to talk to you guys again.
Yeah, absolutely. David?
Tim, thank you for not preparing a game for Alan and I to play together.
I know, man. I really meant to at one point, and then
I was going to say nothing leading up to the show.
It
Don't
got
think of
away
a game.
from me. I wanted to, and then it got
Lucky you, Alan.
Time got away. And it was like, trying to figure out a game to do, because part of the fun is just watching you guys squirm.
Yeah, right.
So, all right. Well, thanks a lot.
Right.
Make sure you're following our show. We'll let you go, Alan. Go ahead and hang out.
right.
Take care, buddy.
Thank you,
You
Alan.
too.
All right, buddy.
See you.
Yeah. Great dude. One of the best.
I didn't say it one time this show.
No, but that was great that he knows to
knows
say
it.
fuck you, Alan. So he listens, everybody. All right. So
Said with love.
that's going to do it, man.
All right.
Did you get everything you wanted out of this movie?
Action porn. It was great.
Yeah,
That's all
me
I
too.
cared
I
about.
didn't give a fuck.
Monster smash some shit. That's awesome.
Each monster had their moment.
Yes.
I mean, you know what I mean? And I think that's all we wanted to see. Next week, we have Major League. Major League.
Let's play some baseball.
Wild Thing.
Dun, dun, dun.
All right. After that, we got a whole bunch of stuff, man. Check back every Wednesday. Look for us on whatever, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Apple, Spotify, wherever you follow us. But we're on Podomatic, so you can download and listen to us directly from there. Bye, everybody.